and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of long-time friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot, and discuss literature and the price of fame on the human soul. We have lots of fun here. But today we're just going to be torturing some characters, so we'll keep it simple for tonight. Previously the Cupcake Coterie have been storming the area in and around the Baron of Goldendale's manor, sort of rescuing the Baron from his confinement with poison and disease and general bits of nasty, tried to sneak to the tower where Twilly, Keth, and Skylar were being held, only to completely screw up a stealth roll and end up being attacked by wyverns and their riders. They killed 2 riders and 2 wyverns. One of the wyvern riders ran for his life, and the last remaining was essentially so pathetic that Hazel hid him in a treehouse until things blew over. Because
Well,
Hazel
after
will
we
be
called
like
the
that. In any case, from there they went to Vengeance Hold, the tower, which has much changed since Froseth, Darvin, and Hazel were in it. I think in a couple of cases they were actually probably sickening for the man-eating rug. Because it's better than what they've had to face so far. Keth was arguably the easiest of them to free, and basically just involved the fact that their companion can fucking fly. The second one was a little bit more difficult in that the trap was entirely light sensitive, which involved a terrible lot of bardic inspiration, some lessons in lock picking for arguably one of the people who should never know how to pick locks, and a lot of bumping around in the dark. Hazel probably has a minor bruise on her face from walking into the cage in which Skylar was held, because even dark vision needs a tiny, 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 tiny speck of light, and there was none. Because if there had been, everybody in that room would be dead. So let's be grateful for the slight hatch marks of cage bars. Alice A brought Skylar back down, and at the moment they are in the second of 3 levels of the tower, heading hopefully in the direction of up and seeing what has become of one of the Hearthhome family matriarchs.
Remind me, was it just the 3 of them in the tower? Or the other people? No?
As far as you guys know, they're the only people from Hearthhome that were missing and brought to the tower.
Yeah, but anyone else in general, like other
You
prisoners?
haven't seen any, and you haven't been looking, and no one's asked.
Haven't heard any like.
If you're gonna ask this, you gotta ask it in character. This is not. I have not at this point said anything to lead you to believe that there is anyone else in the tower. Beyond that, you need to ask.
Okay.
So there you are.
And has Alice come back, or?
Yeah, she does turn up, and as she does, the wings from her flight spell tattoo. Well, let's hope we're not going to need those.
Right. Well, shall we continue up, onwards and upwards, I suppose?
Yeah.
That's about the only thing
Carefully.
we can do.
Yeah, careful on the way. Although
Remy readies her shield.
Yeah, we're going to need to see past that, Ray. Remember, we're going to have to be looking for traps. This has got more complicated the further up we've gone, and dealing with a heat-weakened half-orc teenager and incredibly sick half-elf girl. Up there, they're trying to hold one of the more powerful wizards of the age.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to be careful as shit.
Yeah.
That was my thought as well. So,
I'll lead the way and keep an eye out for traps, I guess.
Yeah, do we want to check that last bit of room? Because the only way up that I've seen so far is back the way we came.
Yep.
yeah,
I'll
check
have
it.
to
I
take a
mean,
peek.
well, yeah, check it for traps first, but yes.
Yeah. I'm leading the way and checking traps. Investigation.
Perception.
Perception.
Because remember, investigation is poking.
Yeah, it's when you're. Yeah.
You don't want to touch things if you're checking for traps.
Nope.
As far as you can tell, there are no traps.
I can't see anything, but that doesn't mean they aren't there, so watch that.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that if there is a trap on it, holds up the keys. The fact that we have these might be a way to negate them, because I don't think they're going to blow up their own people.
Well, let's hope so.
Click opens the door. And what you find is, well, it's basically kind of a rec room kind of thing. There's a couple of card games set up on a couple of tables, and they seem to have been abandoned in a great rush. Yeah, we did kind of have to drag a couple of people out of here by the ear in a couple of cases. Because, you know, they had a good card game going and they didn't want to go and deal with rioting civilians.
Hmm.
I mean, I suppose nobody really wants to deal with rioting civilians, but tough nuggets, I guess.
You shouldn't give them a reason to write in the first place.
I'll take a quick look around
Perception check.
just to see if there's anything of note. One moment.
I'm keeping an eye out for like hidden latches or secret entrances or like, hidden.
Also perception. Thank you very much.
Nat 20.
Nice.
There's at least one guy who was actually probably really glad that they got the call out because his hand was shit.
That was actually kind of what I was hoping to see. I was just curious about the game. I was like, wow, that guy was hosed. That guy might have been able to pull something off with a good bluff.
From the looks of the guy with the really shitty hand, he was trying to bluff his way out of it.
Ooh, yeah. Well, he didn't stand a chance in hell even with a bluff. That one maybe.
Ava's not seeing anything like hidden latches or what have you. She is at least partially distracted by Darvin looking at hands and going, "Oh, this guy was taking the rest of them to the cleaners. Ow!"
Do we want to take their stuff that they may or may not have left on the day?
Mostly it's just silver.
Yeah,
Some copper.
not worth it. They were playing for chump change.
Fair enough.
Well, I guess that tells you something. They don't get paid that much.
Point.
Yeah.
That was
Good.
Best card game I ever had. There was a fair chunk of platinum on the table.
Oof, jeez.
damn.
Anyway, we have things to do. We should.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah.
The sooner
but,
now that we've scouted this out.
Sometimes we need a breather because too much tense is not going to do anybody any favors.
That is true.
Yep.
We need to relax and be very, very, very careful.
Mm-hmm. Still leading the way, keeping an eye out for traps.
Well, you're going back the way you came, so
Alright.
for the moment.
No traps.
And come back to the ladder. I'm gonna be. I can't really say smart. I'm just going to say cordial to the sensibilities of others. Ree, you want to go up first? You've got the armor.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so blink. When you come up, most of what you get at the start is door, basically immediately behind you, just there, and what appears to be sort of more room off to the other side.
Is this a wall or is it just too dark?
You know, it's as far as you can see, it's more wall. I mean, what you've got is
Okay.
kind of, hang on, and it's curving around, and while there's a bit of light, most of this area here is in shadow. So
Okay, then Remy will percept.
I mean, you're not seeing any immediate trap. There is a smell of burning candle and really bad beer from sort of off to your left as you're facing the wall, as you've come up the ladder, which means there's probably another table for like card games or lounging up here somewhere.
Yeah, and she pokes her head back down the entrance and goes clear.
Alice comes up next, mostly to have the fighters in generally in one place. Hazel,
Going up.
Yeah, Hazel next. Thank you. The rest of you, as you like, really.
I'll go up to Hazel.
Yeah, I was about to suggest you go up so you can start looking around for traps.
I'll take the tail end.
All right, Broseth.
You go ahead.
Okay.
It's always good to have a melee fighter somewhere towards the rear. They can generally provide good cover if something is trying to come up behind you.
Mhm.
Eventually, whatever order you choose, you wind up in a very similar gray corridor. If anyone's exploring in this general direction, I really need to stop making curved maps, but it just works for the setting, so...
Well, it's a tower, so I mean...
Well, I could have made it a nice square tower. That
That's true.
But no, I had to do this bullshit the hard way. So yeah, what you've got is... Yeah, there's another table. They're playing for higher stakes up here. There's a bit of gold on the table this time. Although they are drinking what actually smells kind of like the blind harpy's piss water.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful.
I'm getting bedbug flashbacks.
Oh, is that god awful pub in on sort of the Gray's Inn outskirts? Okay, I need
This
to go to
smells
that.
like the shit they were serving there.
Can we go there so I can have a word with the owner?
One day.
Yeah, I'm dividing my attention between the banter and the door by the trap door.
I'm trying not to listen and keeping an eye out for traps.
Okay, perception if you're looking for traps.
Or anything untoward or suspicious. 7.
No, the banter is taking up too much of your attention and curiosity. This is,
Guys!
I mean, for you two, this is like, it's one of those things that kind of reminds you that you're two of the newer individuals, because I don't know how Alice managed to bond with the group quite as fast as she did, but this is the kind of sibling banter that just defines this lot that you're still, for whatever reason, hesitant to get into, despite the fact that they seem to be happier and clearer headed for it.
I'm going to outright check what in the heck is on these bottles. Like, is it at
Well,
all
it's
labeled?
Not, well, it's not bottles. It's tankards. They probably pulled it from a barrel downstairs. But it does smell abominably like the blind harpy piss water.
Hey!
It smells like it was here when the wizard was still here.
Heck yeah!
All right, guys.
Guys,
We gotta focus here.
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately for Seth is also, I mean, he's trying to look, but he's also thinking, not even making it cold helped that much.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot you did that. That was really neat. Anyway.
Alice by this point has moved on to the door.
Yeah.
Has a quick look at it. Well, no trap here, but again, these are... I think the doors might be safe simply because...
They need to get in and out.
Well, yeah, and safe as long as you have keys. I don't know what would happen if we tried to pick the locks, but at least for the external doors, we've got keys.
Yeah.
The outer rings seem to be largely safe, but this is going to be more complicated. And just opens the door and.
I remember last time we were here, there was. Hopefully, it was. Yeah, remember that thing at the top last time?
Yeah, I remember. Too many damn eyeballs.
Yeah.
Tell me you didn't get a fucking beholder. No.
Oh no! Well, we thought we did for a split second, but no. It turned out to be what was it? A viewer or spectator? That's what it was.
Oh.
Sort of like a knockoff.
Beholder bits. That's basically what they are. They're made of beholder bits.
Oh.
Yeah,
they're constructed out of bits of beholder.
Like Frankenstein?
No.
Like who now?
Like who now?
Never mind.
Clearly, you've been reading some very interesting penny dreadfuls. I'm sure I don't think I've really heard of this one in particular, but judging from what I know of penny dreadfuls, this is the kind of thing that you hid under your mattress instead of spicy woodcuts, right?
That looks at all. You're turning colors, Ava. You're turning colors.
Hey, it's nice to know the nobility's human. Gives her a little bit of a hair ruffle and moves on.
But yeah. I'm assuming we're not going to run into anything like that this time.
Let's hope not.
You know,
it's probably worse.
Hey, Reed, do they still have that saying in the military about what happens to people who assume?
Yes, they do.
I was hoping we wouldn't run across anything mobile.
Anyway.
Dude, this was made by we're assuming anyway. We're guessing. We are theorizing. That's a much better word. That this place was designed by an ancient green dragon, and they're known for being sneaky motherfuckers.
So let's just be prepared for anything. Let's be prepared for anything, basically.
Yeah.
More bard eating rugs.
Especially anything. What's the word I'm looking for?
Try using more words, and then we'll try to compress it.
That's what we do.
That you don't.
Let's focus on something else, and it'll come to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been looking. I'm seeing no pressure plates, no weird little gaps in the walls, nothing along those lines. So I think we're good for the next stage. I swear, they made this outer section just to stress out any intruders. That or lull them into a false sense of security so that further in they're not checking anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Key and lock. Click. Eep. More corridor. Back the way around. Still incredibly empty. As far as anyone can tell. I mean, she apparently did a very good job of clearing the space. Man, given the number of people they said were working this fucking tower, I hope the people in town are okay.
We'll be back in town soon enough.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of throwing people under the bus, so to speak.
They have the clerics.
That's
It's something.
Yeah, let's hope
Best.
that. Honestly, my money's on Jenna for that one. I mean, I know she's one of the clerics, but she appears to be kind of an entity in her own right.
You know, I was going to say she's kind of a force of nature. Or something.
I think I'm calling on her fist from now on.
I kind of like the fuck off glaive.
I have a soft spot in my heart for the hammer.
Actually, I was thinking about that. I have a feeling that Keth is probably going to go the way of not just farming your land, but protecting it too. I'm wondering if I should maybe train him to use the old axe now that I've got something a little more suited to my current skill set. It might be nice for it to go back to half-orc. The guy I kind of inherited it from. He was a half-orc barbarian band called the Shield Splitters, what I was told later anyway. And yeah, it might be nice to see it go back to at least kind of the kind of person it was meant for. But hopefully I used it well. I'll have to ask Jenna about that someday.
Certainly effectively.
That much I don't doubt.
Well, it'd be nice to tell her the story anyway. I get the impression she's a difficult woman to impress.
She's probably seen a lot.
Well, we're going to be able to say the same thing someday. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The final, what your various senses of direction tells you is the final sort of round of on this bit anyway. Oh, for pity's sake, will you just... Sorry, actually trying to turn off Fog of War in the appropriate bits is a mess. There. This appears to be where naps happen. And finally, there is a door.
Here we go.
Still not seeing any traps, and I do have the keys for this. The door is actually a lot more solid. The ones you've been passing up till now were metal-bound wood. This one is solid steel.
Remy stacks up on one side of the doorway.
Click. You're in another corridor.
Scoopy Stack looking around.
Oh, we're probably gonna have to go all the way around again.
And checking for traps the whole way.
Yep.
I'm not seeing anything, but I'd like somebody else to take a better look.
I'm also looking this time.
I can see what I can see.
Everybody who can, do.
Oh.
Yeah, what How is it on advantage? I'm gonna do that
Fuck
again.
it.
Normal.
Given the rolls you guys have had so far, keep the fucking 16. Mostly because Hazel can confirm what everybody else believes. There are no traps in this room.
Nothing in here.
Okay. So we start. We got a baseline at least,
Yeah.
or a base rather.
To the right, as you come in through the steel door, there's another one which is mostly wood, but the steel reinforcement is heavier here. Okay.
I hate this place.
Do we think any of the? I mean, assuming.
No, the keys are still working.
Okay.
They still need to be able to get in, if nothing else than to check on prisoners, I guess.
That was my. I mean, I had that thought earlier. I mean, I don't know how often they're feeding anybody.
Looking.
Sorry.
Looking is now. You guys wanna stay as close to the far wall as possible. I'm not exactly seeing anything, but I have a weird feeling.
I rolled. I did go ahead and roll perception myself and hit a 22. Oh, I was saying it for them.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Darvin and Furseth, possibly because they've dealt with something moderately similar before, can see what is only just eluding Alice at the moment. There's a patch on the floor around about here that looks suspiciously shiny. For Darvin, it looks kind of like the remnants of that gelatinous cube you killed. Enough like it to potentially have similar properties.
Oh, jeez.
That looks shiny and gelatinous, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, we probably don't want to touch that.
Oh, okay. So that's
very cube-like.
that's gonna be a jump. Shit.
How big is it?
As far as you can tell, it appears to be sort of hang on, let me just sort of 15 across, so it crosses the entirety of the corridor in a couple of places by 10 up. So there's about a 5-foot gap between the slime and the door.
Okay.
Okay, I'm the one with the keys. I can jump. I'm gonna make a jump for it and unlock the door so we can at least get through. And then I'm gonna have to leave it to you guys. And keep in mind that if this is the kind of trap that we're having to be dealing with, we might need some of the nifty movement tricks for something worse later on.
Yeah, I thought, but then I was like, yeah, no, I was thinking about it, but you're right.
Stage 1 is just as bad. Let's save the things for later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 10-foot broad jump. I don't know.
Not worth it, considering how far you said you could go.
Well, I can, and I'll get the door open. Beyond that, like I say, it's gonna have to be down to you guys.
I'm not sure how the thing's gonna react.
Well, Alice stands back as far against the wall as possible, takes a couple of running steps, and leap wham catches her hands against the wall, which thankfully not trapped. Darvin could have confirmed that for her at the time, so. And then click opens the door to give them a little bit more space.
Okay.
That's a good.
Well, here goes nothing.
What do we see through the door?
More room.
I'm
only about yay far, because I mean you're still looking. So come on, can we deal with the thing that's in front of us before dealing with what's further on ahead?
I'm gonna make an attempt to mimic Alice say.
Athletics check.
Damn.
The only person who could potentially get away with acrobatics is Froseth for monk parkour.
Headkeeper!
It's less graceful and kind of pile drives her cheek into the wall, but Hazel makes it.
All right, Hazel. Since you managed it, I'll give it a go. Because if I screw this up, at least I'll be closer to you. Oy. And this is not my strong suit.
You're not even in armor, Darvin.
Oh, do you want to go first? Now that you mentioned it, you're right.
Do we have time to argue about this bullshit?
No, get moving.
No,
Remy?
Darvin, come on!
Steps up, waits to make sure Hazel, Alice is, on the other side. And then she makes a running jump. She does fine.
It clears right into the doorway. Punk.
Okay.
You are awesome.
Remy wins.
So far, we haven't seen what Froseth can do.
You can just step out the window.
9.
Oh shit.
What? Crap.
No.
You are kind of you stumble stagger really. It's like when you were jumping into hay bales as a kid and they basically leap and then land like you would in a mud puddle.
Oh no.
Just towards the edge of the okay, to start this particular out come the dice of pain.
Oh god.
You take 5 points of acid damage. And could you give me a strength saving throw, please?
Oh jeez.
15.
You manage to pull yourself free as the acid eats chunks out of your shiny new boots.
Ouch.
And bits of your skin, obviously. So you're on the other side, but ow.
Oh. Well, I guess I'm going for...
That reminds me, now we roll other thing. Ooh, that's not gonna be good. Okay, carry on.
That's never good.
That's not a good sound!
Nope.
No.
Right. I'm going in behind him.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
With a 17.
Yep, you manage pretty well now that you know the threshold well enough. You're not wise, but you're smart enough to calculate the arc of descent that you need.
That's gonna sting for a while.
Alice is sort of doing a kind of a rhythmic. She kneels and does a little bit of a rhythmic tap 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 on Darvin's boots to cast mending on the holes.
Oh, thank you.
They're new and they were expensive. I figured it'd piss you off to have them eaten.
Yeah. I'm too busy wincing to remember I could do that myself.
It's not,
Okay,
it's
who's
not bad
next?
enough to need potions or any... And I'm tapped out as far as spell shit goes anyway.
Rosette, do you want to go first?
Sure. So, to try and justify using acrobatics, I'm going to try doing more of instead of straight across, kind of jump to a wall and jump off.
Parkour off the walls. That's what I was saying, yeah.
Yeah.
This or this? I'm -1 strength. I can't do acrobatics.
Yeah.
Athletics. Sorry.
So yeah, he Froseth kind of remembering some of his various bits of training, the bits he actually had a whole lot of fun doing, despite the usual, okay, I am still as the river, but sometimes I just want to bounce like the first pebble in a landslide, bounce off the wall, does a quick bounce off the ceiling, and then. Punk.
How did you?
That was the roof.
No, that was the ceiling. The roof is outside.
Fair point.
Is there anything hanging from like a chandelier or something? Nope. Alright.
In fact, the only light sources in the room are there. Oh, hang on. I have to select move there. And on the other side of the. Somebody thought of that.
Yeah.
Moving towards the edge of the zone, and Mike.
No, because then she'll take. If she falls, she might take you down with her.
Right. No, save your stuff. I'll try bounce off the wall or something. Try and do something. Or run along the wall. Fun.
There is no earthly way. You have not had the training. For
No.
that. You are limited to athletics in this situation. I am afraid. But you can ask Froseth to try to teach you that later.
I'm bad at athletics.
Tough.
You've got this.
Alright, here I go.
Take a flying leap.
I'm gonna run as far back as I can.
Which unfortunately isn't overly, because you've got about a 5, maybe 10-foot clearance before your toes hit the edge of the puddle.
You got Darwin going, go Ava, rah, rah, rah.
Do you want to give her an inspiration die for that?
You know what? Yeah. Actually, yes.
Thank you. Wait, one. So, that. Maybe. Well, I did just. Well, no, I won't need. I'll save it for.
The strength of sheer desperation.
I can do this. Come on.
And wanting to keep the hem of her new coat out of the
And
also helps. Yeah.
My blue ones.
At which point she gets a one-arm hug from Alice 8. Now stop saying you can't do things.
Woohoo!
Because you can always try. I mean, look at me.
Look at me. I'm the one that. Ow.
You alright, Darwin?
Yeah. It only hurts when I laugh.
Worth it though.
I'm
Not
gonna
everyone?
lean somewhat into the next room and look around.
Yeah.
Yep. Check it. I'm gonna definitely take a. After that, I'm taking a look around.
Peeking in. Nah, 7. I'm gonna use that inspiration. Oh, no. How long does inspiration last again?
A minute, I believe.
I'll use it then. Is it a D8?
8.
D8 for me, yes.
Although keep in mind, everybody else, with the exception of Darwin, Hazel and Alice A have. Actually, no. Hazel has 21. Alice A has 22. And they're both going, nope, no traps.
Okay, I'll keep it in.
Clear.
And through the next door, and Alice A opens up the door and then puts both hands on the door frame. Nobody move.
What is it?
That would be a pressure plate.
Oh, brilliant.
Remy starts moving.
Okay, I'm here now. Let's see if I can make sure that this is no longer a problem. Oh. Okay, so yeah, this would be effects-wise, this would be nasty. But the actual pressure plate is kind of preschool. A little more complicated than some of the stuff they had the people practicing on, and she's sort of in with the every gadget. But if I just tweak that... Wow, they didn't even set a secondary. Jeez. Okay. Click. Click. I mean, step over it just to be on the safe side, but shouldn't be an issue now.
Nice job.
That, from the looks of it, would have basically paralyzed a lot of us.
Oh boy.
That sounds
I do
fun.
not want to. Yeah, I do not relish being paralyzed. Being petrified was bad enough.
Indeed.
Well, actually, I was. Well, yeah, we were paralyzed by the spine blights anyway. So
No,
We've
you
had
were
a lot of
stunned
experience
by
with-
you were stunned by the spine blights.
right point.
I remember what that poison can do. On the right hand side as you come in, there is another one of those heavy steel doors. Okay.
I believe.
Last key. Inside the center circular room is a cage. Inside the cage is what looks to, particularly Nye and Ava, like a statue of halfling woman, simple dress, sort of untidy must bun, gag in her mouth, hands tied behind her back, and an expression of utmost fury and loathing in her eyes.
Oh, so
There's a chunk of a skirt missing, having been apparently broken off by something, and a dent in the leg beneath that's gonna suggest a broken leg if she is ever returned to her fleshly state, because for the rest of you, in that cage, sitting on a platform in the center of the room, is a petrified Twilly.
Studio Ghibli-ing. The
expression was 100% I see. By the way,
Alice is sort of pushing the whole thing aside and going, "Okay, guys, we have a problem."
Yeah.
Yep.
No, not just that.
What else is in here?
The platform is weight calibrated.
Oh.
Oh.
We
Oh boy.
move her, and I don't know what happens.
Probably we all go up or something fun like that.
It's one of three things. Whole place gets flooded, electrified, whatever, and everybody in it gets murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Something large is summoned to protect its interests, or the entire tower collapses with everyone in it. I would bet on the third because it's simple, effective, and leaves no survivors.
Yes.
But we have to plan for
all three.
the event, which means anybody who cannot move from one spot to another speedily with minimal damage taken needs to leave. That means Hazel. That means Ava.
Looking up at the ceiling.
Okay, you're looking up at the ceiling.
What if we punch a hole in the ceiling and get out that way?
We still have to come down. There's windows if we want to do that.
Yeah, but there aren't windows in here.
No, but it's a hell of a lot faster than going down the ladders. And we don't know what happens if we start punching holes in walls.
There is that.
And I know I can get back. I can go. I can go quickly one way once.
Well, the thing is
Same.
something like Misty Step. You're not necessarily looking at straight horizontal plane, so you could get at least as far as the front door. Your thing like that. Do you have the version where you don't need to get hit to have it happen? Nye?
I have both.
Okay, then you can stay. Froseth is fast, and if I remember what monks can do correctly, you can fall without taking too much ow.
Yeah.
And frankly, I can take more damage than almost all of you.
Uh-huh.
That's probably true.
Hazel, Ava, what we need you guys to do is get the kids out.
Mm-hmm.
Can do.
And be there for us if, we need some patching up once we get out of here.
Back down then?
Alright.
We will give you 5 minutes.
You be careful.
We'll do what we can, but look at the situation we're in.
Yeah.
When
For the record,
if we
Yeah, that's why
when we have to go back over the acid thing, can I help Ava by sort of yeeting her if I have?
give me another athletics check.
Oh my god.
Natural 20.
Thank the gods.
Well, yeah, except the problem is she eats you so far you hit the wall.
Right, can I try and roll?
You roll into the wall.
Hitting the wall?
You are not in control of how hard she eats you.
Alright.
You do take 2 points of bludgeoning damage, but thankfully, because you're rolling or trying to tuck, you don't hit head first.
Right.
And
Like,
that
hit
is
shoulder first.
And that is a natural 20 on the yeet roll, and I did not expect to be saying that sentence today.
Oh, I perfectly expected to be saying that sentence or something like it. Now, Hazel, if you'd like to make an athletics check to get you across.
1, 2, 3. Hop, hop, hop.
Now I don't feel so bad.
Oh my god.
Oh.
There's
oh my god.
What you guys see is Remy, Nye, Froseth, Darvin, Alice see this kind of piston thing come out from one of the walls and slam into the statue's back. Crunch.
Oh.
I'm kind of glad we avoided as many of those as we did now. At which point, sticks head outdoor and in the carrying voice, "Hey guys, setting off the traps hits Twilly."
And what do I need to do to get out of this?
Make me a strength saving throw.
Oh jeez.
No.
Oh god.
Okay, so sorry. For the first round, that was 8 points of acid damage. For the second, that's 5 points of. So that's a total of 13. And unfortunately,
Oh no.
there's another piston. This time driving into the shoulder. A little less hard this time. Wham!
Does it just ram or does it?
It rams, retracts. You don't even see where it's coming. I mean, you guys don't see it at all, but
So it doesn't
these
like
guys-
what do you call it? It doesn't like pierce. It doesn't.
Well, there's breakage there. It's causing some cracks and damages, but it's hard to pierce stone.
Right. But it didn't impale her basically.
Not yet.
Oh god.
Hazel, strength save.
Oh.
What?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Move!
Can I try and pull her out?
With your -1 strength.
Yeah, true.
What about just helping me pull myself out? Would that do anything?
Just make the save.
Okay.
Or in that
That's
one.
worse.
Oh.
Hazel falls over. Crunch, and the other leg is pretty severely dented. Okay, if Ava helps her, she gets advantage on the throw.
Yeah, I'll try and help.
And incidentally, that would be 9 points of acid damage, because crit, and frankly, this is ridiculous.
Nat 20 that time.
Finally.
Yeah, Ava,
Versus a 4.
Ava takes her by the hands and yink. Because she actually heard what Alice said, whereas Hazel was still just,
A
what?
little bit distracted. Whatever you
Ow.
do, keep away from the traps.
Yeah, I figured that.
No, not just that. Twitty gets hit.
Oh, yeah, thanks for that. Come on, let's go.
Thankfully, if memory serves, every place else in the... I should leave you guys up here. Every place else was... the traps were on the insides, and you have no reason to go in there. So, Ava and a fairly nastily burned Hazel come skidding down the ladder around the corner to find Keth is kind of sprawled out on the sofa. Actually, I will have to move you guys to there. Is sprawled on the sofa in the far corner here, with Skylar kind of lying propped up against his shoulder, still wheezing rather a lot, but not 100% conscious right now. And Keth sort of looks up and goes, "What happened to you?"
The traps
I'm
upstairs
sorry.
suck. We have to get you out for now. The rest
Now.
are handling Mom.
Best as I can.
Okay, that doesn't sound good.
The traps up there are bad.
Okay.
Come on, we need to get you out.
Because
Can you get out?
he scoops up Skylar, and I mean he's 15-year-old half orc. He's about your height and very nearly twice as broad. But I can sit back down once we get outside.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm gonna hear about some of this later, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Back upstairs. Okay. Hasn't been any damage in the last 5 minutes or so. So they've got to be back down by now. Furseth, you're by me. Is we're gonna need to put Twilly in the bag of holding for now. Because... Oh, there's actually a thing. Darvin, you can take a willing person with you.
Yes.
Twilly doesn't count as one. She is not... She can't consent. I'd rather not have to jump out a window.
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome. So, basically, I'll pick the lock and first I'll have the bag open. I'll tip her directly into the bag. If we get jumped, Darvin, Nye, Ree, buy me some time to get the bag in. If things start shake, rattle, and rolling, give me a minute to put Twilly in the bag, then grab and poof. First, let's be ready to run as soon as Twilly's in. Okay. Clicks. Lock opens. It takes a minute because this is a more complicated lock than... but gets it open. Everybody ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Grab and tips Twilly basically head first into... but as soon as she lifts,
Oh god.
run.
Running.
No,
Remy
you don't.
And
runs.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm already stepping forward on.
If you, well, I mean, I suppose if you can try to get, you'd probably stand a better chance if you got to a far wall. So, those who are running, give me athletics checks. Meanwhile, Alice is just, yeah, puts a hand on Darvin's shoulder. We go.
Yep. And I just sort of do a big open
Yeah,
circle.
purple sparkly door, and just next to Ava and Hazel, this purple sparkly portalish looking thing happens, and Darvin and Alice stagger out of it before it's behind.
Where are the others?
Running. You guys can actually see the tower shaking.
Oh god.
Nye is falling behind. Remy and Furseth are in the first round of shaking. They actually managed to get full dash out to the outside door. That with clearing the Nye's had to stop, and because I'm feeling like being nice to you, that was just to get a decent running jump to get over that slowed Nye down. So you guys are at the door. Nye is just clearing the acid slime trap. Because I couldn't do windows on the circular walls, there's one just about there, so literally right in front of you. So you're at the door, it's standing open. Who's doing what?
I'm yelling at them to go. Move. Clear the door.
Yeah, Remy's
Just
going.
pushing Remy forward.
Yeah, Remy can. If Remy sort of hits the wall and Misty steps more or less straight down, she can basically be where. Little close to the walls, but she can move on from there. So if Remy Misty steps from there, next thing you guys know, poof, is Remy right next to the shaking walls. And give me a dex save, Noms.
Oh jeez.
Managed to avoid a couple of bits of falling masonry, which remind her, get away from the wall.
Yeah, Remy
Yeah.
starts.
I'm like, get away, get away, get away, get away.
Yeah. Okay, Furseth.
Go out the window and I guess use use the wall to slow down, do the slow fall thing that monks
Yeah.
do.
I mean, the walls are already starting to break down a little bit, so it's kind of helping. So you just watch Furseth sort of, big ass claw in the wall slide down, grabs another bit, slide, falls a little ways, crunch, scree, and then launches himself off the wall and into kind of a tuck and roll, far enough away that he doesn't get hit by fallen masonry. So he's cool. By this point, Nye is at the window and has just sort of looked down and watched Furseth's descent.
Just boogie.
Full-on Assassin's Creeding.
Looking down, spotting a piece of land. Misty step.
And poof, but also make me a dex save. Because you're poofing straight down and it's fairly near the walls.
Alright, let me get back to that page. Dex save.
Yeah, Nye takes 3 points of bludgeoning damage as a bit of stone masonry smacks him in the shoulder.
Moving that way.
He does note that he did get off lucky as the rest of the tower just collapses into this massive pile of rubble.
Well,
Hopefully no one else can hear. At least I've been near the top of that.
Well,
everyone all right?
More or less or more.
We have a shrine to get to, and
The town to look on.
we
You
have
And the
said
one,
statue to repair.
we have
Wait,
one
wait,
more
go-
thing we need to do first. We got the Baron. We didn't get the heart.
that
What?
would have been somewhere in the map.
Yes, it would have been somewhere in the manor. But we didn't look for it. I'd rather not have the thing that we are trying to safeguard in the unattended manor.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
let's get to
yeah.
the manor.
Kath, can you get
But-
Skylar back to the house?
And
Or are you just going to sit here and
On his
we'll come
own?
back?
Look at him,
he is.
Darvin.
I mean, he's. There's some proximity to not full on lava, but there's still some significant burns.
Hmm.
And they're not in any condition to be.
Yeah, probably
No.
not. Okay, all right.
How's? You said the traps are hitting too bad. Is
It doesn't look like anything that couldn't be healed, but you're looking at 2 broken legs, some nasties to her back, and possibly a dislocated shoulder.
This is why I say this is why the shrine is our stop after we find the heart.
Froseth, you were in the vicinity after we were, and I remember that the shrine was, from what Ree was saying, that the shrine was largely getting mobbed. That's still the case, isn't it? You have one of the clerics at Hearthhome. If she can't do everything, she can at least do something.
Fair point.
I mean, hopefully that means Candor's safe, because he went straight to the shrine before it was under siege.
Either way, heart first. I'm going to cast a 2nd level Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay, go for it. Alice, meanwhile, is just, you guys can do the searching better than I can, and I can move relatively unnoticed, particularly without. I will take them back in the direction of Hearthhome. I'm in better shape than they are, and I can help them along.
Thank you.
That'll give them someone to protect them.
okay.
Yeah.
Any of you,
That's good.
if any
And
of
you
you
can protect
stupid
them from
sons of bitches get yourselves hurt, I am going to nag you for weeks. Last time I left you guys alone, you guys got mauled by wyverns.
Yep.
Don't do it again.
Yep.
Kiddo, let's get you guys home and Skylar into a way more comfy bed. I'm betting hers was as bad as yours was. Those people are assholes. Yeah, we can converse about exactly how bad assholes they are as we walk, okay? Can. Sort of throws an arm over his shoulder. Why, as they're leaving, you just hearing, why do they have an angel? Have you seen them? They need one.
Yeah, we are kind of a bunch of chuckle fucks, aren't we?
I'm not
Fuckle jugs.
I'm not the angel they deserve. I'm the angel they need right now.
So,
Right.
manor.
So,
Let's
manor.
go.
Yeah.
Now, go.
Stump, 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 stump.
Yeah, so the manor's not far, and thankfully, as far as you can see from just looking, it's still emptied and cleared. There are still a couple of bodies. One slightly cooked. The other pierced through with an arrow through the throat, lying in front of the front door.
I'm just gonna walk by, glance down at the cooked one. That's gonna put me off bacon for a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll deal with cleanup later.
I ain't cleaning that. Let's keep going.
I haven't mapped out the whole thing, but we can at least have some appropriate set dressing, so to speak. So,
Let's find the Seneschal's office.
Yeah.
I was gonna start where they were holding the Baron. I mean, my thought was, the heart would be tied to the Baron, infect the heart. Maybe they had him in close proximity. They were trying to do both at once. I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here. I don't know.
Well, can't hurt to try.
first it looks uncertain.
Eldritch Sight.
It's an unidentified kind of magic that's large enough to be difficult to pinpoint.
Kind of that away.
You just gestured to the whole place.
I know.
Something.
Let's get into the middle of it, and maybe I'll have a better read.
Okay.
See? Let's do that.
Oh, are we sure that was it though? Couldn't there have been something else?
How
If
big
it's
of a
the whole
magical
place,
signature
that's
was
probably
that's
it.
Big, and
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
It's the heart of the Baron. It's pretty, it's big.
Barony. If it was the Baron's heart, it'd be in.
Right. Sorry. That's what I meant.
We know
Can
what
we
you
leave
meant,
the
no.
grammar for later?
Well, given where they pulled the heart of Star Coast from, no they fucking can't.
Yeah. I'm like remembering that thing right now. Oh God,
No,
please
the
don't let it be in
last
something
time-
like that.
Okay,
Yeah, remember
for the sake of simplicity, can everybody who's actively searching roll me an investigation check?
Oh, good.
20.
21.
Don't.
5.
Doesn't matter, they're the same roll anyway.
Yeah, double 18.
Oh, crying.
Ava thinks for a moment. And then she realizes that they're all kind of stupid. The Vanadar family was not the keepers of the heart of Cedar Grove themselves. But House Callian, which was their closest neighbor and most high-ranked of the baronies, the sub-baronies, as it were, in Cedar Grove, they were close friends, and she used to, stay over for big balls and hunts and things. The kind of thing that Darvin's family was more fringe, and Star Coast, so we didn't get as many invitations. She recalls hearing the descriptions that have passed around from them, because they're talking about a wooden box with the crest of Goldendale on it. She recalls a cedar wood box about the size of a bread loaf with the flourishing tree of Cedar Grove on it in copper, hidden in a little alcove underneath the head seat, the throne, if you like, of House Callian. If these jackasses of the Crown's Guard haven't found the thing and taken it away, that's where it's going to be. And so while these guys are looking for the Seneschal's office and turning Baron Langerhan's room upside down, she just walks up to the to the base of the throne, gives a little poke, and open, and
Found it!
there's the
Found.
Okay, now we have to carry it to Hearthome.
Anyone got a bag of holding? Don't really want to
No,
leave.
No, never, ever do that.
Bad idea.
Okay. Sorry.
You put it in a bag of holding, you cut it off from the barony.
All right. I was trying to keep it from being
Oh.
in plain sight.
We'll wrap a cloak around it or
Yeah,
something.
that's what bags are for.
Ava, you've had time to explore your coat. You have got some fairly significant pockets in various inner linings. So there's one around about waist level that if you tuck something the size of a bread loaf into it, through some trick of shady tailoring that Darvin knows it would make his father millions if he could figure it out, is barely visible when she tucks it in the inner pocket and puts it on. They have good tailoring in Egriff.
Extremely good.
My heart can start now. Whew.
Okay.
Hearthome.
Well, I
no.
was
Shrine. Wait.
no
Well,
No, we need
cleric
to
and Hearthome.
And the kids are heading in that direction anywhere, so where you go is up to you now.
Okay.
well, let's. We need to make sure. We need to look in on
We
aftermath.
should at the very least aim you, pointing at Ava, at Hearthome, just to keep what you're carrying safe.
Yeah, let's.
Mm.
Yeah, Hearthome,
Yeah,
and then town.
And now that the aftermath is kicking in and all the stressful bits, as far as you know, are past and gone, that is when A, Darvin's stomach reminds him that it's there, and B,
Oh no.
he hasn't turned into a rabbit since his trick with the
Aura of life.
and that was over a day ago.
I had noticed that, but I wasn't going to say anything because the last couple times I've said something,
He's
it's happened
still
on the
not
instant.
turning into a rabbit. But that's when you guys start to notice, wait a minute, it's been over 24 hours and he hasn't...
Why haven't you bunnied yet?
Yeah, that's
Oh God,
weird.
don't say that. The last couple times I've said that it happened. And
At
looking
which point,
expectantly at Darvin.
at which point, what Hazel gets is the voice of her god. Apparently, he's learning.
I'm just braced. I'm waiting for it. I'm just like, oh god, oh god. I'm like this. I'm just like
He
Picturing you.
used what he had wisely enough to prove that he is capable of forethought.
Huh. I'm gonna walk up to him, grab him by the hands, pull him aside. Welcome to Perma Person.
This sounds
I
like something
think
to
you
figure out
proved
later,
yourself.
Hazel.
okay. Thank you.
There, as he says that, there is a feeling. It's not words. He's not attuned enough to gods yet, but there's a feeling that a slight pulse from the hand with the aura of life tattoo to flag up why, and it's on the back of the hand, not the palm.
Ah, right.
And a feeling of you did good, the kind of fatherly pride that you've never felt before.
You okay?
Yeah. Kinda.
Darvin?
This is weird, but okay. We need to move.
Yes, we
I need
do.
to talk to you later, Hazel, and you too, Remy, and Alice, as a matter of fact. Although I said that already, but no, all three of you.
Okay.
Moving. Turn, shove.
Remy, yeah, while you're doing that, I'm assuming you can start walking as you think these things. Remy, Hazel, make me wisdom checks.
19.
Yeah, both of you recognize that. That's somebody on the brink of some kind of religious conversion. From somebody who's been largely up till now. Yeah, I know the gods are there, and I know they're powerful, but I don't really care. He started caring.
I'm just kind of quietly smiling
Remy
and
gives
continue just
Darwin
sort of
a look.
I'm gonna
homeward.
real quick, since I'm like, can I roll a perception check real fast? Do I see if I even notice that look from Remy?
Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to let that determine whether or not I do. No. Given I'm like
Yeah.
kind of at my hand
Can I
and
remind you that in situations like that, I'm the
sorry.
one who decides things. But you're right. If you think you feel that someone's looking at me thing, but when you bother to look up, she's not looking anymore.
Sorry. Gotcha.
And when you go back to that, that's when the second look happens, but you still don't notice it because. And this is a good time, both chronologically and narratively, to take our 5-minute break. When we come back, we will get you guys back to Hearthhome and see what happens next. And we're back. The gang is on their way back to Hearthhome with the heart of Goldendale tucked in Ava's pocket after she looked at them all tearing the manor apart, going, "You're all stupid." Pushed one little button and poof, there it was.
Well, I feel stupid anyway. All this time you guys have been talking about the heart of this or the heart of that. I thought it was I didn't think it was a physical object. I thought more like it was the rulership or the crown or, well, a crown's a physical object too, but you get what I mean.
This is the conversation that you're having on your way back, so.
Well, no, it's not metaphorical.
Clearly. Well, clearly now anyway.
Starford is probably thinking the various times that, I mean, this is probably a good time for Darvin to tell the story of how they went to go looking for the heart of Goldendale in Vengeance Hold the first time without knowing what it was, and then finding out what the heart of Starcoast looked like. Because their whole the expressions on their faces when I had Martin Hearthheart going, it's a box about the size of Brother, and the look on Ethan's face was priceless.
I'd forgotten that. Oh my god.
I do not forget expressions like that. I am incapable. How close are you guys gonna get to town?
Not too close. Remy would suggest that.
Oh, Remy can go ahead and in character suggest that. In character conversations, guys. In.
Remy nudges Darvin's shoulder once they're getting close to town. You know, we should circle around.
Oh,
And
right.
then she
'cause-
percepts
yeah,
for
cargo.
the last wyvern.
There's trees.
I'm keeping an eye out for any
It's
sign of
it's actually been a very long time since Remy's been anywhere with this much tree.
Well, I mean, I know we don't want to go close to town because, well, riot. But any other particular reason?
The third wyvern.
I'm out.
Oh, great.
Anybody else?
I'm keeping
Yeah,
an eye.
I'm suddenly very paranoid.
I'm keeping an eye out for
It's been
any sign of
mentioned.
movement. Anything.
Yeah,
11.
immediately looking up at that sentence.
It makes sense that Nye is the one who's used to Nye and Ava. Ava being from Cedar Grove and Nye being from undetermined forest location are the best at looking through trees. It's not just that there is lack of wyvern. There's also there's birds, there's squirrels, there's the kind of thing that would have run like hell if something
there
like
was
a
a wyvern in
wyvern
the
had been
Mhm.
flying nearby any time in the recent past.
Well, it looks like we're safe for now. With weapons, at least. Anyway.
Trees.
Wildlife.
Trees.
Actually, Darvin will remember then telling Nora, no wildlife sounds, and now you're hearing the wildlife sounds, and just remembering if there's wildlife, there's nothing too scary. If there's no wildlife, that's when you worry.
So Darwin stops being quite so paranoid, but is still on the lookout for anything else. Just
It gives him a little pat on the shoulder.
Hazel, knowing the area like the back of her hand, as she used to run these, the woods on the outskirts of town all the time, can nudge them through the worst of the occasional boggy patches that are rather like what the cranberry patch at Hearthhome is like, and manages to get them, in fact winds up sort of skirting through the various boggy bits and gets them to Hearthhome via their recently regained cranberry patch of land. And it's not sundown yet, but you're starting to see where it's going to be fairly soon. You're hungry, you're tired, in some cases you're still hurt. And you're kind of living the aftermath of an awful lot of adrenaline, but you're home.
I'm calling that a good day's work. How about the rest of you?
Well, we got what you wanted.
I'd like to try to make sure that Kendra's okay somehow, but I'm in no condition.
Okay,
Unfortunately.
everybody roll me a dex save.
Oh, no.
18.
Oh, deck save.
8.
Natural one.
25.
No.
It makes sense that it actually no, it doesn't make sense, but it's terribly ironic that it's
The
Persev
dexterous.
Well, no, it's let me finish.
Sorry.
It's rather ironic that Froseth is the one that steps into the snare that nobody actually saw up until this rope from apparently nowhere. Yoink! And he's hanging from a rope that's not actually attached to anything. Upside down.
Not attached to anything?
Nope. This is
Like it's just hanging in midair?
actually Ava's probably heard a bit about this. This is a ranger spell. That's snare.
Oh, for God's sake.
Uh,
Would I know how to undo it?
Unless you can dispel magic, no.
what?
Can
I
anyone
mean-
dispel magic on this thing?
Can't we just like cut the rope?
No, it's not gonna work.
Wait,
The
If
same
it's
spell
magic,
I can
I doubt
use.
it.
No, it's the same spell I
Froseth?
can use. That's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Froseth
You look
actually
like
looks
you-
really calm
you look
about
like
this.
you know this.
yeah.
You have a look on your face that
Wait, this is one of Shinaira's, isn't it?
Yep.
oh boy.
And we just spell
Okay, she's
course.
gonna pop up in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ramas comes up from under a bush with our. Oh, it's you.
Oh,
Hi, Ramas.
hey!
Well, you guys seem cheerful, given what walked through the door a couple of minutes ago. Kath, Skylar,
We're,
they ain't good. I
we're
mean, they're
still coming
they're
down
alive.
from the stress.
They're home.
Yeah,
we're counting that as
we're grateful for that, but we're just saying, you know, you guys are cheerful, given. But anyway, no. Where's
it's
Mom?
relief.
Okay. That's an explanation. It's gonna take a bit.
At which point, the minute that the snare spell lasts, and Froseth drops. Thump.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Can I do like a deck save to like
You
try
can try to. Given what you are, yes, you can.
Okay.
Hey.
19.
Yeah, you managed not to take any damage, but that still looked awkward as hell. The rope vanishes as if it had never been there. and-
You alright?
Yeah. I'm okay.
Sorry, but
No worse than before.
well, we have to be careful.
No, you're right. You
No?
did good.
Completely.
You handled it better than I guess great Aunt Minerva from the stories I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Darwin's eyes just go, what? And I missed that.
I think there wasn't a whole lot of detail, but from looks on faces, I think it's probably good that you and Hazel especially missed that.
Fair.
It looks over at Froseth, who has the yep. Yep.
Let's get inside real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
We have
work out the kinks at once we're inside.
Yeah.
The inside of Hearthhome, the original house, is now actually starting to get a little cramped at the minute because you've got new con. There's a shadowy corner where the kids hang their coats, which is probably where Shinaira's hiding out, so she's not taking up a whole lot of space. But you've got Melora in the kitchen, trying to carefully navigate the icebox. Looks up. For those of you who have not properly seen her, tiefling white, pale white skin, pink hair, eyes to match, navy blue, fairly unornamented robes.
Hey,
Before we do anything
Question.
else, before we do anything else, we're putting lunch in you. You're all going to sit down now.
okay, that's fair.
because I want sensible out of you, and you all look a bit too flummoxed in general to with a couple of exceptions, but I think they tend not to be the most verbal of you. Sit down.
I think we're still coming down from the stress.
It's been a long day.
I can imagine that. I can also imagine that once we've had some food in you, we can give the children an opportunity to play moderately safely while you explain in a bit more detail about what's going on. And keep in mind that I follow a goddess of fate, and that gives me some rather fascinating insight into things like when people are hiding places, listening when I've asked them not to. Faraday and Evan are just,
And of course, and Jarvis is like, of course.
sit. I will put lunch on. I will also assure you that, unfortunately, I don't have quite the medicines that apparently Miranda was sent off to get, but I had some things that were close, and she's lying down. There's some soup for her when she wakes up. We'll get her back healthy. It hasn't done any more damage than it needed to. Her time in there. I think she's probably going to want a candle burning in her room when she sleeps for the next little while, but that's from what little I understand from your Azamar friend is not surprising.
Mm.
No.
I'm gonna sit at the table and just kind of almost like flop over on like flop face down, just sort of curled over, like, sitting down but face plant from tired.
And I'm just doing one of those.
Uh, in front of the various ones that are slumped, as well as the rest of you, bowls of venison stew and herb rolls.
Oh, that
Praise
smells amazing.
food!
There's a loud growl from Ava's stomach.
Wow, you got some nice resonance on that one.
This is what happens
Blush.
when we skip meals.
You didn't have... Okay, I'm not
You
gonna
had
argue.
pressing matters to attend to.
I'm not censuring you. It's just a lesson. If you let your stomach be empty, it will complain.
Yeah.
True.
Arm, narm, narm, narm.
And yeah,
Arm, narm, narm, what?
Alice does come to join you for lunch as Melora kind of shoos the kids outside. And Con goes as well to keep an eye on them. Alice's only comment is, well, did anybody get hurt? I mean, beyond the
Hazel.
tower. Remember the bits I wasn't there for?
Yeah,
Good.
thankfully, no.
Nope.
Good.
You mean coming back now?
No.
The bits I wasn't in the vicinity for.
Nope.
There was no surprise wyvern.
We were
No.
fine.
There was distinct lack thereof.
Yeah.
Wildlife
exactly.
and such, so that's a good sign, though I'm a bit confused.
I don't
But I'm taking it
I
as a
don't
good sign.
I don't think it's a good sign for town.
What, you think the wyvern's above the town?
Well, that's where
Oh,
Ree
yeah.
saw it.
Yeah.
Ah. I don't know. We're not. Oh God, I don't want to leave the town but I don't. We're not in any condition. Damn it.
We need to rest if we want
I
to do
know,
it.
but
Well, keep in mind when we've settled, when we've had some food, we have an option we didn't before. points to Fursa's bag of holding. If Melora can unpetrify her, we have a very powerful wizard.
Yeah, we do.
Who's going to be immensely pissed off.
Yeah, she's also going to be
Banged up.
Yeah,
We have
I
a cleric.
exist.
We have
Yeah.
two clerics.
good point. Good point.
Melora
Well-
comes back. The kids are suitably distracted.
Okay. Not to put too fine a point on it, but Milor, can you do anything about petrification?
Depends on the source, but it's been a while, but I think I
We
can.
don't actually know the source, unfortunately. Sorry.
Well,
Well, in which case, I
potentially-
don't know, but possibly?
I mean, there were dragons involved, so it might have been one of them that did it.
That could still be anything.
Could be
Yeah.
spell. Could be a creature. Could be.
At this point, it's just try what we can do. Try what we
Somebody
can.
could have dosed whoever this is you're talking about with basilisk poison or any of the other
Oh,
multiple ways that you can be petrified.
That's what you meant. I apologize.
Oh boy.
I've only been petrified the once. I didn't quite know what you meant by source there. Sorry.
What petrified you?
That was a cockatrice, but it was only for a day.
And their
Exactly.
Their venom is not overly powerful. Basilisks, on the other hand, will be far more permanent unless you have certain ways and means of removing the
Whew.
delivery method of the petrification. Then there are spells that just bypass anything like, poisons in the saliva and that kind of thing and go straight to, I want your meat to be stone now.
Whew.
There's a
Oh,
lot
boy.
of.
Well, Miranda, we found her, but she's been petrified.
No,
Twilly.
Twilly.
Sorry.
Twilly, you're getting your words turned
Yeah,
around again.
sorry.
Let
Because you're still coming
Hazel
down.
talk, eat your stew.
Okay.
So, we found Twilly in a cage, petrified. We got her out. She's in whose bag? Your bag, right?
Versus.
Whose
And
points
we
at
need to
Froseth?
figure out
Alice
how to
big.
undo
It'd have to be
that.
Fursus. You were on the ground at the time, remember?
Yep. It'd be
You
first.
and me.
Doofus.
So we need to get her out of the bag and try to undo that as soon as possible. We also found oh boy. How's this? I'm going to sidetrack a little bit right now. How's the Baron doing?
Sleeping is still fairly weak. It's gonna take him a little while to recover. Much like Skylar, actually, but different reasons behind it. He'll be okay as long as he's well cared for.
That's good. This is just a thing we had to make sure to scoop up relating to him and.
The heart of the barony.
Thank you. Oh, good.
Well,
Yeah.
Lyra knew, and she told the rest of us.
I wasn't sure who entirely had been clued in, and if it would have been a good idea to say things.
Well,
I don't want to blurt.
I wouldn't to the general population, but clerics look after the soul of a place as much as rulers look after its heart.
Yep. So we have that. Ava's got it.
Okay, we might want to find some place to put that, but I imagine that it would be Twilla that would know the best places to hide something like that. So,
Yep. So first,
I'll say, being stronger than Foseth is, just sort of goes, "May I?"
Yeah.
Reaches into the bag and yip, poof. Oh, Oh dear, that got some beating. Because now Ava and Hazel are seeing the extra dents that came when Hazel got stuck in the trap. So that first crunch must have been when Darwin got caught in it.
I just had a massive lag spike where I heard none of that.
Okay. Basically, this is Hazel seeing, and you remember the first time when you saw that first dent in one of the Twilly statue's legs. Now you see the crunch on the other leg, the dent in the shoulder, the dent in the back.
And the first crunch was when I screwed up jumping. The others were when Hazel
Okay,
did.
Melora sort of crouched, circling around. Oh, I'm not gonna want to do this. I'm not gonna want to do this while she's standing up. Okay.
Don't suppose there's any way to fix the damage.
I am a cleric, not a stonemason.
I realize this is a really stupid question, but would mending work?
Can try, but I doubt it.
Looking at Darwin.
The cleric is looking at you in absolute horror, by the way.
Judging from the look on the face, I'm going to say no.
Notices the look. Just asking.
Yes, that's why I'm not saying anything. She's not. I mean, okay, currently she's in a bit of a limbo where she's not counted for some spells as a willing creature, but she's also not a thing. Mending happens to things. If mending could happen to people, then we wouldn't need cure wounds.
That's true.
Yeah, petrification is a weird thing.
At which point Alice is like, look, I'm gonna take her to her bedroom and lay her down on her side so we have access to her hands so that she's not coming back if she's coming back on two broken legs. You guys sit, eat, and try to sort out what, if anything, needs doing next. Because, I mean, even if we can, that's a thing I hadn't considered. Even if we can get her in good health and able to walk, she's still gonna need some. She's still going to need some rest from the point of view of she's been locked as a statue for 3 days. And there's the fact that if the kids are well guarded, and they seem to be, her immediate reaction is going to be, where's my wife? If I know anything about this woman from the stories I've heard. Hell, I know my reaction would be really close.
And the person we have who's got the direct source to finding, well, we just gotta hope that your patrons got that sorted faster than not.
I'll let you guys discuss that and picks up the Twilly statue, if you don't mind. Thank you. They seem to need a minute. Yeah, and I'd be here if I could, but I think sometimes they need a minute without me to see what they can figure out, and then I can just sort of beat it into a workable shape when I come back. Tromps off with the Twilly statues over her shoulder.
So it sounds like we're in a sort of a hurry up and wait situation where we've got two things that are going to be requiring other things to happen in order for us to get the whole ball rolling again. To start with, we gotta get Mom unpetrified.
Yeah.
Then, given reaction and just needing Mama and Lyra back in general, we have to get that straightened out, while at the same time also seeing what we can do about the town proper, because I would rather not have the last wyvern flapping about and being obnoxious. Which reminds me, I should probably go to that tree house before I crash and go get the guy. At least bring him here and situate him for a while. He doesn't have any markings saying who he was working for. He's perfectly happy to not. Extra body would be useful.
I suppose.
That leaves pretty much any remaining figuring out to you guys. Does anyone want to come with me to go get him?
He probably won't trust anyone else.
I don't know if I
It's tough
trust
for him.
Eeny, meeny, miny. I'm gonna want you to come along, Ava. You're better at the woodsy.
Alright.
I just glance over at Remy with a look on my face like, eh.
Well, nobody's
Pretty much.
saying anything, so.
So is anyone
Remy just
any further
shrugs his
things anyone wants to say before Ava and I scarper?
Just stay to say.
Before you go running off right now, can we finish eating and have Alice come back?
Probably.
If we're gonna do something like this, I'd rather everybody know what's going on before we actually
Yeah, that's a good
engage.
point.
Yeah.
he's not
Also, Ava, let's get the heart out of the jacket and at least somewhere where we can not accidentally take it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes, that too.
Where should we put it though?
Basement for now?
Do I remember any like relatively safe like lock boxes or trunks we could put it in the area in the meantime?
No, that's the kind of thing you'd need to speak to Twilly about, particularly given what you now know about the stuff in the basement, you don't know how much of that you're going to be able to open and what you might mess up if you poke at it.
Yeah, I mean, we got the basement. Let's not go down there until Mom's all sorted.
No.
There's a lot more in there than I remember actually having been in there.
Well, to be fair, you've
Oh.
never really been in the basement until just recently.
I mean, that does kind of stem from me having never actually gone down there, but I figured it was basement is basement.
None of the kids did. Was the thing. And now you know why.
I mean, we could put it in one of our rooms. We could put it with the Baron. The Baron's being seen over by the clerics, but
At which point, from the hallway, so you really want to do two birds, one stone situation. You really want to set that up. Alice comes out.
no. Well, I mean, as soon as it was out of my mouth, I was starting to think better of it. But
I've talked to Twilly. She and Melora
Wait.
are having a conversation right
Wait,
now.
what do you mean?
Guys, just let me finish. Yes, Twilly is unpetrified. She's getting fixed up. She's not really up to talking right now. And the
Figures.
primary issue is Melora doesn't want her running off trying to find Miranda.
Nope.
She's not in any kind of physical or mental state for that. Before we do anything else, we're going to need Hazel to explain to the kids that Twilly is going to need to get some rest and they can see her when she's awake and feeling better. Just like Keth, just like Skylar.
Yep.
But I did manage to interrupt the low-key argument long enough to get some indication of where in the basement we might be able to stash the heart. Hey, Shinaira! Yes, I was listening, sorry, from the corner. It's okay, you're actually an adult, technically, sort of, depending on what version of age you're... Species are weird. Look, you're the one who seems to know how the basement works. There's a box in the far left-hand corner. I somehow have a feeling that you're gonna figure out the code. Whatever. Open it. Put this in.
I glance at the others to make sure they.
Hold out hands to Ava for.
I glance around to make sure they're all okay. Alright.
Yeah.
Just had another massive lag spike, so I missed a good minute.
Basically, it's just Alise managed to get an indication of where to put the heart, and she's sending Shanaira down to do that because Shanaira's been in the corner with the coach listening to the conversation. And
Yeah,
you can stay in the basement, like by the stairs or something, if you still want to listen. I know that the light's not great for you. Okay, thank you. The box vanishes, and then. I'm not sure whether I want to, like, protect her or just shake her until she stops being so afraid of me, but I know that'd be counterproductive. Okay, when I came in, there were some dubious looks. What's going on now?
So, beyond me going to talk to the kids, there was another thought regarding the guy who I parked out at a treehouse.
Okay.
Bring him around here to be basically just another guard and help just basically get him out of there, and also to see what he thinks we could do about the last wyvern. Because given he raised wyverns, he'd probably know how to handle that.
Okay, the latter, yes. The former, how do you think it's gonna go if he agrees to be the part of the bodyguard for the kids, and he gets confronted by a whole army of his own? I'm not saying that I'm not saying he's not trustworthy. I'm not saying he is trustworthy. I don't know. I am saying that it would be complicated for everyone to have another person, a relative stranger that we can't vouch for, around a bunch of nervous kids. So what I would recommend, bring food, bring some warm blankets, ask him the questions about the wyverns, because you're right, those are good questions, and let him crash there until things actually die down. Because that's what I thought the idea was, that he was going to stay there until things have actually died down.
Yeah, that's the better idea.
This is why I said wait to go anywhere until you come back.
I had the thought of it being in the workings until I realized possible questions needed to be answered, and figured I'd run the idea by you first.
But Hazel, the bit about the wyvern was spot on, excellent, bravo.
So, if there's anything else, is there any other things we need to think about processes for besides wyvern? Because we also are going to have to head into town, and there's also anything relating to Nye's patrons that we still have to wait.
Nye can probably ask for an. I should ask a question. Nye, I don't know that much about Archfey, but I do have an idea that they are not necessarily the most patient beings. How would they feel if you asked for a progress report?
I don't want to be seen as bothering them. I figure when they have something, they'll tell me.
I mean, that has been the case, hasn't it? So far? Like, if I recall correctly?
It just stacks onto the hurry up and wait situation, really.
Well,
It would be good not to bother them normally, but do they really?
Well, I mean, okay.
Are they liable to operate on a normal time frame?
Well,
they're not.
To be fair, right now there's nothing that we can do about that situation. We do have more pressing. We do have concerns that we can deal with right now. Since we're not sure if we should talk to them or not, let's err on the side of caution in this at this point, and continue dealing with what we can deal with, because
Because
they're not beings I want to piss off. Let's put it that way.
All right.
Then what we need to do is get Hazel to convince Twilly to stay and watch the kids when she's up to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the last thing we want is her also hopping planes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
Particularly, and we'll have to properly clue her in on this, with riots a few miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go sort out telling the kids that Mom is back but not feeling too great just yet.
Well, I mean, oof. Yeah. What happened when you got back? Did they see the condition that Skylar and Kath were in?
Yeah. I mean, we couldn't hide it.
Right. I hope the kids. I mean, as okay as they could be. I hope.
Well, it was very much how can we help?
Oh, good. Okay.
But
Okay.
that's kids.
Yeah. Okay. I worry
Look,
about their well-being, about their state.
with other kids, it's something they can do something about.
Okay.
They can bring soup, they can bring comfort. The one that we really need to be careful about telling anything about is the parents, because
Mhm.
to them, and it's a fair enough belief, their moms are heroes. They
Yep.
saved them from fates worse than death.
They're
And all the
already
owies.
nervous. They're already nervous if they
Yeah.
hear. Then,
Okay.
So Hazel, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
I know you
Here's
know.
hoping.
But
Here's
yeah,
just
no.
hoping I don't stumble over the words.
Just say what you would have needed to hear. The rest of us, apparently there's some kind of spice cake in the oven for us, so I'll divvy that up, and then we need to take an hour to ourselves. We've been in each other's pockets in a stressy kind of way basically all day.
yeah, we need a rest.
It's
Yeah.
not even so much a sleep thing, it's just we need a break. So take an hour and we'll reconvene in the Fort Cupcake main room.
Works for me.
With chunks of spice cake and heading for the oven.
Yeah,
I'm gonna head out towards to see about talking to the kids.
and I'll follow Alice, get a bit of cake, and basically just sort of go for a slow walk between the house and Fort Cupcake.
Not that far away, so
I mean, I'll walk around a couple times, just away, and just to clear my head.
well, theoretically you could. I mean, there's still the hot springs in the back, and even with prestidigitation, you've still got the memory of spleen
Slime.
and map.
Yeah, and spleen. Yeah. In that case, yes, that's exactly. Yeah, good idea. I forgot all about.
He's starting the slow amble, and he's like, "Hot springs bath."
Yes.
For
Are they
power
separated?
clicker.
I forget if they were.
Yeah,
they were
basically it's a large hot spring which has been separated by a sort of a man-made patch of blueberry bush. So yeah,
Remy also follows Alice and then sticks by her.
yeah,
Gives her a nudge.
she's mostly in the she's in the room that they're sharing once she's ensured that Cake has gone to need-worthy parties, and so looks up and goes, "Not fed up with me yet, huh?"
Of course not.
Well, it's a fair enough thing. Ugh. This is weird. I'm not saying it's bad weird, but I don't think I've. And this even beats the people for lumping together as kind of quasi-family unit thing, and there's all this emotional stress. It's weird.
Yeah, it is, but I'm not sure if you do get used to it, but
No,
you make do.
the weirdest part about it is that I don't really mind that much. And now
They're better than.
And now Darwin wants to talk to me about shit.
Yeah, I think. I guess he's had some kind of revelation.
Oh, fucking hell.
I
Is the God Squad gaining another member? What?
don't know how that's going to work unless he's
Oh.
been getting messages that
Oh,
he
there's a
hasn't
whole
told the rest of us about.
there's whole bunches of ways that can work.
Hmm.
You'd be surprised at how many in cases of dire dark times, you'd be amazed at how the gods can get around the divine veil issue.
I Yeah, I've seen a bit of that.
Yeah, but not you haven't seen all of that. How are you coping with that anyway?
Well, I know. Feels like a long time now. I talked to the High Cleric at the Temple of Tritherion, and she suggested talking to this one cleric right here, but
The one that's
things
missing.
have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's why you were nudging about maybe getting this, maybe talking to nice patrons. I wondered about that. You're usually, let's get on to the things we can actually do something about. Not that I was gonna say,
Well,
honestly, but
that was more just his patrons being the way they are. And I know it's a delicate matter.
yeah, but still, it's a different kind of important, especially given the changes with you. I mean, at least you know Tritherian's not pissed off. Otherwise, you wouldn't still have the bits that you had as just a paladin.
I mean, doing what I was called to do was just less and more.
Different route to approximately the same destination.
Mm-hmm. But also, she fishes through her bag and then pulls out the wyvern tooth. I
Aww.
got a present for you.
Is this the one you turned inside out or the other one?
The one who with the writer who did make it, and he was a bit upset.
Ah, yeah. That if I recall correctly, that is the one that you turned inside out. I will
That's
treat it.
probably
I
why
will
he
treat it
was
with.
upset.
I will treat it with the respect it deserves.
Mm.
Fade to smooches. Nine. What are you up to?
Stagger, 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 thud.
Where
Stare
are
at
you thudding?
In whatever room
Well, you do have your own room, so
in Fort Cupcake. I don't remember if there was anywhere actually to go horizontal or if we just put a chair in there.
you have kind of a day bed, so
Yeah.
it's
So flop, stare at ceiling. I don't want to bug you, but never mind. I know you're doing it.
at which point he closes his eyes after that one, and there's a tap, tap, tap on the center of his forehead. opens his eyes and about an inch from his face, sort of upside down from his perspective, the Herald. You don't want to bug us, huh?
I've asked for a lot already.
Well, if there's been any kind of word about it, I haven't been informed yet. However, I have been authorized, so to speak, to provide what I can only refer to as a consolation prize. You recall how we found you?
I try not to think about it too often, but yes.
How would you feel about briefly doing that to your enemies?
It depends on why they're my enemies. I can think of one or two that might.
It would only last for a minute. You're not that powerful yet.
All right.
All right. Here's what you do. Fade to instruction. Froseth?
Froseth is going to start off with going to his meditation spot, recentering.
Mm-hmm.
After probably about 15 minutes of that, look for Farida.
By that point, we'll assume that Hazel's had the talk with people, and given that she is the little wanderer, he is going to find her in the little orchard space, most of the way up a tree. Hi.
Hello up there.
You want me to come down?
Probably make things easier.
Okay, and bounce, 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 bounce. And actually, quite handily comes down the tree. I bounce.
I can see that.
Twilly Lady's gonna be okay, but she needs rest and quiet. So I know that I'm a little bit nosy poking around, and that can be loud. So I'm out here.
Yeah. Um.
Open snout. Words come out. I'm not gonna be offended.
Well, yes. No, it's. Well, we've gotten to have a strange situation here. You're my sister. I'm not sure whether to refer to as big or little anymore.
Let's just stick with sister. It works better that way.
Yeah. I want to spend time with you, but we don't really have a basis for interaction at this point.
And we won't until we make one.
Yes, that's why I came here.
Okay. Did you have any ideas for how we start the basis of interaction, or should...
No clue.
Well, I have a couple of ideas. I can tell you a bit about Mom and Dad and home if you're ready for that. But I know things are busy and you probably want something a bit more fun and distracty, and we can save that for another time with warm drinks and cakes and lots of hugs and things. Or almost a little sort of ding idea moment, and taps him on the elbow. Tag, you're it. Boom.
He takes a moment to laugh and then chases.
A game of tag ensues. So Darvin can probably from the bathhouse hear faint dragonborn giggling from.
I'm like laying there just like, and then I hear that, I'm just like, except I'm low enough in the water that there's bubbles.
Okay, so that we catch up on that one, because that would have been after Hazel had the conversation. When Hazel comes out, she sees him. Kids mostly milling around, not so much playing as, you know, that thing that kids do where they look like they're having a serious meeting, but it's hard to believe they're having a serious meeting because they're kids. And when Hazel comes out, they all turn around and give her, the she's gonna say things look.
Oh boy. Yes, there is to be saying things. Oh boy. So, the long and short of it is, we got Mom back. But she's
little hopeful, tensing.
she's still recovering from being in there, kind of the same way Kath and Skylar are. So for now, there's got to be at least a little bit of calm, quiet, and she'll probably be able to talk to us tomorrow. Once Melora's had some time to help patch her up and all that sort of thing. And as soon as we can, we're gonna keep going around making things better. We're gonna go clear out anything left in the town and make sure everyone's home and safe.
They stand and they look at her for a minute, and then Xana kind of raises her hand.
Oh boy.
If we're real good and we pick the best and the quietest of us, can the best and the quiet of us bring Mom dinner? Just so one of us can see that she's okay, please.
I want to say yes. Can I? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try and ask Melora real quick. Okay. Make sure the woman, she who knows the patching up of people even better than, well, best of anyone here. So
They look like
I
they
want to
don't
make sure.
entirely believe that because there's you, but they're Xana's actually making quiet little shooing noises of please go ask, please go ask, please go ask, please go ask.
I'm going to move as rapidly as possible to go do that.
Melora is actually stepping out of Tully and Miranda's room as Hazel skids in.
The kids are they are largely agreed to be quiet as possible, but they wanted to ask if, so long as the quietest of them were the ones to do it, if they could bring Mom dinner.
That should be fine as long as they're not likely to worry their fellows as well as. I think you know what I mean. As long as they're not prone to.
Yeah, they're usually good about that.
Just make sure whichever one they pick is the best of them at that. The one that will back you up when she says that it's gonna be okay.
Thank you.
Off you go.
Zoom.
The kids are doing the vibrating expectant look.
Screech, possibly tumble to a stop.
Okay.
I found out that is a yes.
At which point, Mela then raises her own hand. What about Mama?
We're still looking. We know we have an idea, and we've got someone looking, but we haven't gotten an answer back just yet. And the one we've got looking is more is as strong as Mom, at least.
So we should make sure that Mom, if she's not feeling well, doesn't go running right off after Mama.
Yeah. That's definite. Yeah.
And
Because
from Evan, we can do that. 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 We can do that.
you are all amazing. Like, I don't know what I did to deserve the best siblings ever.
At which point, group hug. Woomph.
What? I am in a kid pile and it is glorious.
Okay, Ava.
Grab my piece of cake, and I'm also in the hospital.
So you're on the other side from Darwin. So you hear
Yeah.
him bubbly laughing, and you also hear the Dragonborn giggling. You can converse. You just can't necessarily see
Yeah,
each
yeah.
other unless you make an effort.
Then you just hear Darwin go, "Ah!" Big mood.
We're nowhere near done now.
Well, we're a hell of a lot further on than we were when we started.
I guess.
Hey, Ava. We'll take care of it. Your family, I mean. We'll take care of it. Same as mine. We got this.
I don't even think so. I mean, we've still got a long way to go, but
Yeah, but look at how far we've come.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, okay, yeah, it was an adult, but still, we did that!
Yeah, that and the dragon.
And we rescued, well, most of the family so far.
Yeah.
And we've got good leads on the rest.
Yeah.
I just hope Candra's okay. That's my only thing I'm worried about right now. But we got this.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow, I'm not exactly sure how, but we got this.
Yeah. Gotta believe.
Hell yeah. And by the way, nice jump! I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it! Poop!
You know I've never been very strong.
You did damn sight better than me! You gotta give yourself more credit.
Yeah, maybe.
I said what I said! Maybe my ass! Look, Alice won't let me get away with it. I'm letting. Damn it, you're making me lose words.
I get what you meant. I
I'm glad somebody does. Anyway.
It's been a long day. Well, been a long couple of days, really.
I'll bathe to that.
Assuming further bath type conversation and various other diversions, everybody reconvenes in the main room at Fort Cupcake. Some earlier than others because Alice is putting together what smells like it is going to be dinner at some point. At least as much, it would probably appear to Darwin in specific, uh, to be kind of separate for a conversation if he wants to have one, as anything else. But there are a couple of rather well traveled bottles of wine on the table, and glasses are out. I broke out some stuff that I picked up when we were last coming through Belarus. Figured we needed it.
Yeah.
Want to help me sort out some various bits involving Rabbit? You're the expert, my man.
I'd love to. Oh God, I adore you.
Rest of you take a seat. Start conversations. We're listening with half an ear. Dinner will be shortly. Sort of nudges him towards Darwin towards the vegetables she needs cutting up.
Yep.
Assuming that they're conversing, and then finally, so you wanted to talk.
Yeah, I decided I was gonna go ahead and try to talk to you and Hazel and Remy sort of all at once, just so that way I didn't have to do it more than once.
Yeah,
But
and risk us
it's
all talking over each other. We do that.
okay. Fair. Yeah, fair point. Well, I mean, okay. Growing up, me and the gods, it just wasn't a thing. When they were there, they did their thing, we were doing our thing. But
They were a good excuse for a party.
yeah, and their stories were good, the music was nice, But I've heard the stories. I've heard tons of the stories, but that was what they were. They were stories, and then from what I've
Now you're living one?
and what I've seen, and yeah, people would say things like, "Oh, what was it? Hazel says Paler's light shines over, and people walk in it, or whatever." However
We
she
walk
puts
in.
it,
Well, you
I
walk
don't
in the
remember.
sun.
I'm losing. Hmm?
You walk. I walk. It's usually I walk in the sun, and the sun heals the worthy. I
And
walk in the
like,
sun, and the sun burns all evil.
yeah, and people would say, Paler's lights everywhere and whatnot, but I'm like, I've seen it.
You wear it. Taps the statue.
Exactly. And it's like, wow, okay, there is connection there. I mean, I mean, there is like everywhere, I'm like, actually, like, everywhere. And holy, yeah, holy. I'm trying not to be blasphemous here, okay? It's just,
I
Hazel
understand.
yelled at me once for that already.
You're doing fine, Darvin.
And you're also talking very loud, apparently, because
Oh,
this
crap.
was private conversation in the kitchen area. Does the God Squad want to weigh in here now, since Darvin has no volume control?
It just got me wondering, okay, what connection I might have, how that might be a thing. It just, I'm just wondering. I don't know, and I think I might want to know.
Oh, I can't say that I am the expert. I was born with this. It took a while for what they call, my other father to actually speak to me. I guess it was just because I was in a holding pattern at the time.
Hmm.
Because up until this now. It really has been a holding pattern. I've been having the kind of life you've been having, but with divinity, a little bit of it at least, running through my veins. And maybe part of it was because I was already doing what I was supposed to be doing. I asked to come along with you guys because you were there, because I thought Ree was fantastic, but
Agreed.
largely because an awful lot of you seemed to need me as much as I needed you at that time. Leaving felt wrong, and I guess there's very much a truth in that, because look what happened.
Well, and I guess, and that's what I mean. That's one of the things I mean when I say I've seen it. I mean, what Hazel did shook.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw. I mean, okay, that was after Flitty, and Flitty was that was incredible. That was amazing, but mind blown.
Basically, there were rules to that kind of spell. Some people can raise the dead from a lot longer, as we know. Gestures in first as general direction. But that is a very powerful being who's trained for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Hazel doesn't have that power. You understand magic from the perspective of it has rules, it has limits. Hazel, with the permission and blessing of her god, broke those wide open. And that's probably resonating with you more than you realize.
Well, and like I said, I mean, Hazel's got her connection. Remy's got hers now. You've got yours. And I wanted to talk to you first because yours is, I mean, okay, it's a little different, but it's also just by virtue of what you are. And like, I am a bard. It's what I am. It's what I do. So I don't have a connection with it like Hazel or Remy does.
Well, you'd have to ask for confirmation from the people who've had the religious training, but
okay.
From my perspective, what I would say, what feels like the right response from someone who gets their guidance kind of direct. If you want that connection, if you're seeking it out, pray. And I mean really pray, not just for something, but more of a... I don't know if Hazel did it this way. I never had to, but it feels right. Just, here I am. This is me. I respect, love, and honor you for who and what you are as a being. Help me help you. And keep
I
doing
was about
that
to say.
until... Sorry, Ree. You've got a different
Say-
perspective than I do.
Yeah, well, I think I'm in a different boat in a sense as I go out at sunrise, try to have a conversation, and what happens is what happens. The hand of the gods is it's a funny thing.
This is why I wanted to talk to the three of you, because you each have your connections, but because they're so different, you each have your own perspective beyond just being different people. Thank you. Hazel, you hadn't said much.
Come here. You're on mute, Smeagol.
I've been sort of just milling about nearby, not yet trying not to butt in, basically.
Yeah, but now you've got Alice and
Hazel,
Cam
you're
here.
the one who had real training.
Oh, bullshit! You didn't have real training.
Well, as I'm spreading the word of Paylor instead of
Yeah.
just
Yeah, but who
swinging
says he's going to be
something.
spreading the word? It's not his choice necessarily how he serves any more than it was yours
Yeah.
or
when
mine.
When it comes to faith, it's kind of a bit of both of what they said. If you're coming from an angle like mine, he Paylor loves us for us being us, and anyone who does that is well more than worth loving back. And I don't have any particular prayers outside of that one mantra you've heard me use a lot.
Yeah, you usually say it so quick. I couldn't remember most of the words.
Yeah, for all Remy says I had more training. My training was mostly here, put this on, carry this, run around, run in circles around the outside so we don't have to deal with that.
I think what we're dealing with at this point is basically Darwin's not just talking about loving the gods, he's also talking about serving them in a bit more of a direct way than he has been. Because up until now, he's been adjacent to what I tend to refer to as the God Squad. He's been helping, but he wants a bit more of a direct thing. Hazel, when you joined the clerichood, you basically, correct me if I'm wrong, came in from a position of, you know, I respect you, I honor you, I love you, tell me what you need from me.
Yeah, that and just conversation sort of thing. Like Remy said, if the gods have a particular thing they want you to do, you'll know it if you ask. Just don't you don't even have to ask specifically. Just pray. Just talk.
You have to
However
admit,
you
you haven't
feel.
done much of that.
However you feel. Just put how you feel into words. Even if you're not even if the words don't seem like they fit at the time, just anything works as a start.
As long
No, I
as
got you.
it's what's in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I can do. Thanks, gang.
Yeah, I'll drag you out of bed in the morning bright and early.
Thank you.
Don't
Hazel,
worry,
thank you.
this is gonna be. To be fair, it would probably be easier if I did because we're sharing the same place and you live in the house across the road.
Fair point.
Somebody
what you
drag
kept
me out
doing
of
for
bed
me.
first thing in the morning, please.
Don't worry, I can add you to the banging on the door for dawn prayers.
Thank you.
But for now, let's get some of this stuff to the table and
Yeah.
You are a veggie man. Veggie man brings veggies to the table.
Yep. Can do.
Begin your service to the Celestial with moving vegetables.
I might even manage to do it without twitching my nose. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's roast rabbit in honor of a no longer necessary bunny ears. He finds them the day he realizes that he's not gonna go bunny anymore.
Yeah.
and just sit down to okay, we've got that, and everybody's had some chill time. Everybody's a little wound down from the stress burn.
Yeah.
How'd it go? How'd it go with the kids?
Pretty well.
Good.
They're gonna be a couple of them, quiet as they can be, are gonna be bringing mom dinner later, or now, depending on where they're getting up to. And I'm just looking around.
No, they've left you to it for the time being. Who knows? Possibly Faraday is currently investigating the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's that
And
it's Faraday and Evan that you guys are going to be looking for from now on.
and well, we've still got that one thing that Ava and I should probably go sort out by
Eat
food
first.
transport.
Eat first. I've got a basket prepped for you guys.
Thank you.
I borrowed your incredible picnic haversack. I figure it's probably the best use for it right now.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that was actually on my list of suggestions. Wow. You're predicting everything I do.
Hazel, sweetie, please don't forget, I'm smart.
Mm,
Food get yes.
Okay, now we are sitting and eating. Nai, you okay?
I got an update. No news is no news, at least from their herald.
Okay.
Um,
What else?
What?
they have an ironic sense of humor.
They're denizens of the Feywild. I believe my immediate reaction to that, from what I've heard of the Feywild, is well, duh. But
Yeah.
we'll take that as interesting things are afoot.
Yeah, there's more I can do, and it involves placing someone I don't like briefly into that blackness where I was trapped.
Are you sure it's specifically the blackness, or is it just some kind of pocket dimension thing?
All he said was,
technically it's pocket dimension thing, but
yeah, but all he said was, "Would you like to do that to your enemies briefly?"
well, I can tell you
I
for
wasn't
having
sure
been
about the
on.
like part, but it's something to have.
Yeah, I can tell you I've been on the receiving end of it.
You can, well, I see if a 9 makes that connection.
Well,
Nope.
he wasn't
That was an
there because
that was an 8.
yeah, I mean he wasn't there anyway. That was the fight he sat out of because he was having a panic attack.
Mm.
You remember that thing with my parents?
Not really. I saw the black goop and was like, nope.
Yes, I know, but you remember the general situation where we went down into a basement and murdered the living shit out of my parents?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out that my mother was a powerful wizard. Or sorcerer or some kind of bullshit. I don't know. All I know is that one minute I was there and the next minute I was somewhere else. And then a couple of seconds later I was back where I was supposed to be, and she had a dent in her forehead the approximate shape of the hilt of Frosis Kama. And she was very, very dead. So, you know.
Magical powers of nonsense and point.
Yeah, let me just say it won't hurt them, but it'll freak them out. Something chronic. Just so you know.
Well, I mean, if you
or if
can
we
get
just
them
need
out of
some-
our hair first.
Exactly. If we just need them to get out of our hair briefly.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's a good way to do it, as long as then you can maintain your concentration on it when somebody's hitting you.
Or just not be hit. There's
That sounds much better to me.
It's also something you're pretty good at.
Yeah, up until he
I
starts
do-
casting significant abilities that make him a target. I'm just saying.
I
Yep.
do the zap from a
Eh.
distance thing. People shouldn't be hitting me too much.
Yeah, I
It's
used
a
to think
risk
that
we
too,
all
and
take.
then I got a spleen in my lap.
Yeah.
It's a risk we all take doing what we do, isn't it?
I
Pretty
just
much.
wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I just wasn't willing to move because I figured, well, if I'm next to Hazel, and Hazel's maybe it'll hit me and Hazel, and I can take at least some of it. So I wasn't willing to leave Hazel in harm's way.
But then you took all the spleen.
Yeah.
I kind of gotta wonder what Wyvern spleen tastes like, but it's been sitting too long now. Look,
We don't want to know.
I come from the people. You have to kill something like that. You don't like wasting a kill. All the energy you use to kill it needs to be replaced with something. So you kind of gotta wonder how it's gonna taste. Okay, my upbringing is made of fuck, alright?
It makes logical sense to
Upbringing is
me.
made of interesting.
Now
That
I
is
understand why you carry around those hot spices.
Pretty much. You know,
Yeah, fair point. That's yeah.
they are delicious.
the people are predominantly nomadic. You can't exactly just take something home to the kitchen. So you carry around anything you'd want to improve your food with wherever you can. Anyway, point is that after dinner, Hazel and Ava are gonna go check in on Treehouse Dude. And
Yes.
it might make sense for the rest of us to go in at least as far as the outskirts of town so we can take a peek at what that riot is doing. At least to get some kind of sense of it. We probably won't be able to do anything. I think we're more or less burned out.
Mm-hmm.
But we can at least get a look if we can get into one of the buildings just to get an update. Great. If not, we go back, we rest, and reevaluate. But we're going to need to know what's happening in there on, a full stomach and when we're not jittering from various bits of nerve. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like
Yeah.
best plan.
I vote we tell, like, the cleric Melora where we're going and let her tell the kids. Kids have had enough shit from us the
Not a bad idea.
last day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for right now, please apply yourselves to food. I do work on this, I'm going to teach various of you how to cook, so I'm not doing it all the time.
I really want to learn, so I'm less of a klutz in the kitchen.
As long as you promise to spice things for everyone, not just for your own personal taste.
Can do. I'll do what you do and set aside some to be spiced.
So what we'll do is after dawn prayers in the morning, you will join me for breakfast prep.
You got it.
We're doing all kinds of learning today.
I am fucking beaming. Like
See,
solar flare levels of grin.
This is a much better way to start a potentially dangerous mission. We're good. And on that note, we are at that time, so in 2 weeks' time, we will see the Goldendale treehouse and check in on the Goldendale riot.